there, welcome to NZ Money Karma, where you can find freedom from the daily grind through budgeting, simple living and adventure. I am super pumped. If you've watched my previous video, you will know that we bought a batch. How exciting is that? I'm so over the moon, I can hardly describe it to you. We won't get a chance to be there for another couple of weeks, but yeah, we'll get there. I do have a bit of video footage to show you of the inside. I've been down once just for a clean, just to clean. I didn't get through the whole house though. It needed a lot of cleaning, let's put it that way. So I just got the bathroom, laundry, and kitchen cleaned. So I've got bedrooms and lounge to go. Luckily it's a very tiny house, so even though there's lots of cleaning to do, you do feel like you actually get somewhere with it. So that aside, you might be thinking, NZ Money Karma, why do you have such a small amount of money to live on when you're doing these other seemingly big things? So if you are wondering that and a bit confused by it, a video I have, which I will try and remember to put in the description below, is called something along the lines of Look Poor to Grow Wealth. And I would love to be able to put it up so you could just click on it right now. But I can't. I don't know how to do that. So I can't put that into this video, so it's just going to be a link below. Anyway, it kind of explains how we roll in our family, like how my husband and I approach money and the things that we want. And what that means for us is, in essence, really honing in on the things that we really care about, the things that will make cool family memories for us, the things that will set our descendants up for a good life. We're really, really cognizant of the fact that life is getting tougher and tougher and tougher, and we want everyone to do well in New Zealand, absolutely. But if we find ourselves on one side of a line, we want to be on the line that's succeeding, right? So we try really hard to do things for our family that will be good, not only for us, but like in 200 years from now, will people be pleased we bought a batch? Well, I can tell you now, if someone in my family had kept hold of a batch or a small cottage somewhere else other than where I live 200 years ago, I would be extremely happy. So we do big things, we travel, we do big things for sure, but we can't do the big things and frisher away this weekly money. We absolutely cannot. We are not big high income earners. We cannot have it all. So we choose. And we choose to do the big things. We choose to make the big memories and have the big experiences. And as a result of that choice, that means we have to be very careful with our money on a week-to-week basis. There's not a lot of wriggle room. Yeah, so that's it in a nutshell. Very exciting times in our house. Coming up to the new year, we always relook at our budget. So my husband and I have been meeting regularly to go through our budget to make sure we're staying on track, because we just had so many things that we hadn't thought of that happened in the last quarter to half a year that we just feel like we've gone like this. And lots of that has come from an emergency fund, and some of it's come from our investments. We've taken some money out of our investments to pay for it. That's all right, you're allowed to do that. We stick to the 4% rule, but it's just that we've never done it. We've never taken money out. We've always been in the accumulation phase. It's always felt really wrong to be taking anything for ourselves, but circumstances have kind of prompted us to do that, and that's helped, because now we've done it once, we can do that every year from now on. If you haven't watched before, you'll know we are aiming for an early retirement, and that early retirement date that we're aiming for is December 2026. So without further ado, I will tell you our 2026 budget. I'm not going to go through every single thing like how I worked it out, but I thought I would just show you quickly how, in fact, I do work it out, how I kind of get the amounts that we are going to be putting away. And I will do that with, okay, let's do power, for example. So our power is $120 per month. Now how I've done that is I've gone back through all our power bills and seen what we've paid each month, and then I've divided it by the number of months to get an average. So in winter we're probably spending more on power, in summer we're spending less, but it is $120 a month on average. Then I have, so I've gone 120 now that I've got the monthly amount, and I'm going to increase that by 20%. So that is $24. So I've done 120 times 0.2 equals 24. Because I'm increasing all my bills by 20% from what I paid this year, because I don't want to be caught short. So in total, I budget for next year for power $144 a month. So I go 144 and I'm going times 12 equals $1,728. And then because I'm putting this money into the power account each week, I'm just going to divide by 52. So that tells me I need to put away $33 per week for power. Okay, and I've gone through and done that for every single one of our bills. So I'll tell you what they are. I'm not going to write it all down because you can barely see it anyway. But I'll tell you what they are because it's just sometimes interesting to know what other people are budgeting. I've always found that really helpful. If I know what other people are doing, it's not so much comparing, like I'm not comparing myself to them, but it does give me an idea if I'm kind of on track, if that makes sense. So power, I've already said, we're going to put away $33 a week. Internet is $21 a week. Gas, that's going to be $41 a week. And wood is going to be $41 a week. And then insurance is $72 a week. And I've just added that all up, so that's $208 a week is going into like the bills account. Then we've got rates separately, that's $123 a week, so that's our council tax if you're not from around these parts, and that pays for things like rubbish, local roads, libraries, swimming pools, that kind of thing. In New Zealand though, compared to say like the UK, in the UK the person who lives in the house pays the council tax. In New Zealand the person who owns the house always pays. So you know, if you own 10 houses, you would pay 10 lots of rates. The tenants won't pay that. So that's just a little difference here. The biggest cost for us, the biggest single chunk of money that we'll be spending next year is $346 a week, and that's for our kids' school fees and rowing costs. And we've worked that out, it's going to be $18,000 a year. I know, it's huge. But we are so happy to do that for them. I was a little bit on the fence initially, but now they're into it. They absolutely love it. Yeah, I just couldn't. I would do anything to keep that going for them. Anything that was humanly possible for me, I would make sure I do that. So we've got those costs, and then on top of that, it's what do we got? We've got an account called like breakable things. So that's stuff like if in the future when we need a new car or we need a new washing machine, we don't have too many electric things, so I don't envisage, touch wood, needing anything, around the corner, but we will need something. So it's just putting money aside for that. So over the years that can bank up, and hopefully there's a few $1,000s there when we need it. So we've got $20 a week for that fund. We've got $20 a week for a house maintenance fund. Our house is over 100 years old and it's nicely maintained, but there is always something that we need to do. We've just finished painting it last year. Really, we should start next summer painting a side a year or a side every 2 years, so it's just always in good condition. At the moment, I don't even want to think about painting my house again. It's such a big job when you have a big weatherboard house, isn't it? So there needs to be money aside for things like if there's a rotten weatherboard and that needs fixing, or, nothing big, no big improvements, just generally maintaining it. And then there's another account which $20 a week goes into, and that's for double glazing. We have finished 80% of our house double glazing, and we have the last little bit to do, and we'll be saving up for that over the next couple of years. So in total, that all comes to Let me just double check. I got 677, but now I'm looking at that thinking, is that right? Yeah, 737, that's what it is, because I didn't add in these other new car things. 737 plus 263, yeah, so I've got $263 here to cash stuff, that's all right. So that's my cash stuff money. Now, what are we doing with the rest of it? So that's our budget, $1,000 a week, $52,000 a year. Sounds like heaps. When you see it all written down, it doesn't go very far, obviously. It's only in my head that it sounds like heaps. Everyone else in the world will go, that is just the tiniest amount. But I do feel like when you're mortgage free, that should just be so, so plentiful. Like you should just have so much spare money. But it'll be tight, but that's okay because that is absolutely our choice. So I've got the 263 here to stuff, and I'm going to do a few different things here as well. So yeah, just give me a minute, I'm going to get to that. And then you're thinking, okay, well, if you make more than $52,000 a year, what are you going to do with the rest of it? Like I said, we are planning to retire at the end of next year. Well, I guess it's get to a point where work is optional. Let's put it that way. Work optional by December next year. What we choose to do with our time after that, I don't know. But that's where we need to get to. So we have to think, what do we want to invest in? If we've got, a decent income for the next 12 months, what are we going to do with that money? So first thing is smart shares. Total World Fund will be ploughing money into that. I've transferred a chunk of money into that. I've set up a new account that's new to us. And the kids are still using Sharesies, but I won't be putting money into Sharesies for myself. I'll be putting that into Smart Shares. Same fund, just different provider. So that's the first thing I'll be doing. Like I said, we've got a batch now. There are ongoing costs with that. It's another house, so there are rates, insurance, all that kind of stuff. And I hope in the future to be able to get a little bit of money as a result of once we've renovated and what have you. But I've given myself a year where we have no income as a result of that property. We're never going to we haven't bought it to make money from it like a rental. We have bought it for our own family fun and future. The nature of houses in New Zealand though, it is likely we would ultimately make money on it. I would say every 10 years they do double. There will be some point in the future where that's not possible because people won't be able to pay $1 gazillion for a house, but I don't think we're there yet. I don't think we've reached the end. People still seem to be able to find the money. So whilst it will be it's an appreciating asset, it's not giving us any money. So some of the money we earn over the 52,000 will be going towards that property, and we've got to fix it up over the next year in preparation for next summer. That's our goal. And we will also be putting money aside for holidays. This budget does not allow for any holidays. And that's okay. We're happy with that. So if we want to have holidays, we will have to be using our investment money. And for now, that might mean just paying for it in cash out of the extra money. And in the future, that will mean a couple of things. We could side hustle for it. That's an option. We could each keep a part-time job. That's an option. We can front load it this year, as in try and put some money aside so that for the next 4 years while our kids are at school, we can still have a holiday each year. That's an option. All of that obviously takes away from how much we're able to invest in appreciating assets and appreciating shares. But they're all options. So we're putting $52,000 into living, and then our other money investing, and whether or not that's investing in the stock market, property, or our family memories. Those are the three things we'll be investing in. Okay, if you're here for the cash stuffing, now's your time. So I'm going to, as a result of this, because I've got a lot less money to stuff, right? This is not very much. I don't know that there'll be many people on YouTube living on such a small amount, well, in New Zealand anyway. So I'm going to be changing around some of my envelopes because it's just not going to work how I'm doing it. We will run out of money pretty quickly as soon as we get a semi-big expense. So hold tight and I'll show you what I'm up to. So first off, food. Food is getting $150. I've written myself some notes over here and I actually just have to turn it around and have a look because otherwise I'm not going to be able to see it. Okay, so food's done. Petrol is just going to get 20. Actually, before I start, let me change some of these notes for something smaller. Let's see, what's that? So there's 100 there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, perfect. 5. So we have a few things on Trade Me. We've had a real clear out. Mostly as a way just to kind of declutter our brains, I think. Like we have felt overwhelmed with all the things that have been happening over the last 3 months. We are not immune to, you know, feeling a bit swamped. Being stressed about money is not something I normally experience because I feel like we're quite organised, we don't have debt, all that kind of stuff takes away the stress. But every now and then, when you have to pay tens of thousands of dollars to sort stuff out, yeah, that does make me feel uncomfortable and it does make me feel a bit stressed. So petrol is getting 20. Our new car is a hybrid, so it runs on electricity when we're just around town and petrol when we're on the open road. And yeah, so far so good. It cost 110-ish to fill up. And we have done, crikey, about 600 Ks and it's just down to halfway. So it's going a long way. That's good. I haven't got anything for tickets and fun this week. Garden. I'm just putting in $5 a week for my garden. Now, with the money that we're also setting, you know, that we're investing, if there's something big that needs to be done around our house that we want to do, I don't know what, you know, like say we wanted to put up a pergola or something, a wooden pergola, we would have to fund all that stuff before we retire. We would not be able to afford to do that once we stop actively wage earning. So, yeah, I don't know. We haven't decided that we want to do anything particularly this year or next year, but if we do, again, that's something that we would have to do earlier rather than later. So $5 there, and into giving goes $10. So I'll take out those 5s and put in a 20. And then work travel I'm giving nothing to because my husband gets January off. Not the whole January actually off, but he doesn't have to travel for his work in January. So I'll worry about that in the new year and start stuffing, even though it won't be till February, but that will just help keep us a little bit afloat. Again, still no budget spreadsheet done from one of my kids, so the pocket money just adds up. So that's there for that one, and I put this one here for the other one just so I don't get confused by whose is whose. Okay, so that's the must do, can't live without it kind of binder. Now these are the ones that I'm going to be rejigging just to make my life work a little bit better. So let me have a look at my next piece of paper. I have so many pieces of paper. So a lot of this is going to be combining things. So I'm just going to get them all out. let's have a look. I've got a lot of different areas and I need to just simplify it a little bit. So I'm going to put them into, I guess, sections, sections that make sense. That makes sense to me anyway. Okay, so first one is, now that I've got them kind of in a pile, I'm going to do health. So I'm going to combine optometrist, hygienist, doctor and dentist. And I'm going to make that one envelope and I'm going to make a nice label that says health. So this is not my nice label, but it is a label. And then I want to make something that says what it is and then on the back has how much money I'm putting in and how much I'm taking out. So I'm just going to put in today's balance and let's see what we've got combined. And once I've counted that up, I will tell you why I have done this, like what my thinking is. And again, I don't have the perfect solution. Sometimes I'm just trying to figure things out and just trying to go, okay, how can I make this thing work on a little amount of money? And I know I've got a decent amount in here. Don't know exactly how much. Oh, not much in the old optometrist, but that's all right. We've all had new glasses except for my husband, so we're all, we've done pretty well to be able to manage that. So my basic reasoning for doing this, oops, put that away so I don't accidentally think I have that as well, was I feel like there's a lot of money that I had in various envelopes, but not necessarily enough money in any one envelope to kind of meet the need at any one time. So the idea is that if I can kind of stuff these combined envelopes and have that amount of money available for whatever health problem. So if it's time for the dentist, there's money. If it's time for the doctor, there's money. It's a combined thing. There's no point in having $200 sitting in a doctor's envelope that we don't use for the whole year if we then need, I don't know, $200 for the optometrist, but maybe I only have $150 in the optometrist. Does that make sense? So by combining them, I think we will be able to meet the need a little bit better. Now in health, I guess ideally, and I haven't worked out exactly why I've chosen this number, but as a round number, I thought $1,000 would be a great amount to have in the health envelope. Let's see what we've got. 1, 2. 3, 4, 5, 550, 60, 70, 80, 90, 600, 10, 20, 35. So 635 in. So I know that that will be enough for really, gosh, I mean pretty much anything that might come up health-wise, that will be enough. It won't be enough for like 5 things to come up health-wise, but mostly that doesn't happen. I'm also working on my emergency fund, so if that was in fact the case, I should be able to take care of it, in theory. So this is going to be health. I know there's 635. Once I get to having put in 1,000, I feel like I could probably relax a little bit with that. So I'm just going to put this in something that's in good condition. So I'll put that in there and I'm going to make that health, and I will be fixing this up over the holidays. So I'm going to have a lot of spare plastic envelopes, but I'm not going to have so many that I just can't keep on track, keep everything on track. Okay, next one is going to be animals. So again, I'm going to make my lovely and I'm going to say in and out. So animals, I thought, can't read my writing. I wrote it all out nicely and then I had a phone conversation with someone and then just started doodling on the piece of paper. I think it's $600. Could be $800, I'll have to see. So there was nothing in groom, I've taken out vet and I've taken out dog food. So that will be any animal food, that will include the chickens. It will be any trips to the vet, or I don't know if I needed some kind of, I don't know if you can get over the counter things for animals, you know, like if they needed something, then this is the cash that anything the animals need, it would come out of. And like all things, if it doesn't work, then change, right? But I think this will work better. Okay, so let's see, what have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 150, 70, 80, 90, 200, 210, 20, 30, 230. Actually, I should also write on here what I'm aiming for, eh? So I'll write 600 up there, and I'll just change this one here. So I know now, and this is how I do my online accounts actually as well. I give them all a name, so I say bills or whatever, and then I write $208, and I just put that in the heading, and then I know that that's what I have to put in each week. So I don't have anything on automatic payment. I manually move my money around each week. That's a preference. I know lots of people like to automate it. I like to be in control of it rather than the bank, so I don't like automating. I like to physically, you know, move it around once a week. I'm not such a busy person that that's, you know, too hard for me to do. Okay, so that's health, pets and vets. Next is transport. So that's going to be bikes and car. So bikes and car. Let's see what we've got. So $100 in the car. $100 in the car fund. 1, 2, 3, 50, 70, 80, 95. So $395 in transport. And then in, out. So a lot of work to do in that one, isn't there? Crikey. And how much do I think I need in there is the question. Gosh, ideally it's $1,000, but I'm just going to put 800 because I just don't think I can save $1,000. So let's hope for the best. That might not be sensible. I mean, surely that's enough. That is, yeah. I think it will be fine. Obviously, the more money you have, the better, right? But I think I can get away with that, if that makes sense. I'll be keeping my fingers crossed anyway. Then what have I got left? I've got birthday and Christmas, clothes and shoes, and tech. So tech I am getting rid of altogether. And the reason I'm doing that is because I now have an online account, and that online account is for things that break. So if our phone no longer works and we need a new phone, we will use that online account to fund it. If our computer breaks and we need a new computer, we will use that online account to fund it. If our washing machine breaks, that's what we will use. Yeah, That's just how we're going to do it. If it was something in the house that broke, then we would use house repair and maintenance fund. So I don't need this specially set aside. I can have that back over here to do something useful with. So clothes and shoes. $20. I buy everything exclusively from a second-hand shop, so if I was going to clothe myself for a year, probably $20 would be fine. I will need, my son needs new school shoes before the new school year starts, so we'll be doing that closer to the time. So that's one thing that we will need to pay for, but it won't come out of here. It will come out of the school fund, which I have already funded for the next year. So all the savings I've done this year are all in an account ready to pay school fees as the bills come in. So they will invoice me every quarter and I will have the money sitting there. So the money I'm putting aside now, which would I say it was? $346 a week. That's going for the following year. That's for 2027. That's what I'm saving for now. As far as shoes go, my kids will each need a new pair of sports shoes every year, a pair of sneakers. So I will need to have money aside here. And I think for that $400 is what I need to have aside. And what have I got? $90. So a ways to go there, right? I'm looking forward to having some kind of system where I can just look easily and go, what have I got? Not have to go and count all the money again. And then last but not least, I have birthdays and Christmas. So there's nothing left in Christmas because that's just around the corner and I have spent it all. We have a beautiful Christmas tree. I absolutely love it. I've only got $5 left in there for birthdays. So we will make this, I think we'll call it a celebrations kind of envelope. And I don't know how much we need in there. I really don't. I'm going to have to give this a bit more thought. But I do know we need Easter, we need birthdays, and we need Christmas. So I will have a think about what needs to go in there, and you'll see next cash stuff because I'll be putting something towards that. So with a small amount of money that I do have now, that is so much easier to kind of get my head around. I've got 5 envelopes. That seems much less like cluttering in my brain. So I won't count that just yet. I'll just see what did I actually have left over from my 263. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So $53 would have been what I have to cash up. I have this other money though. Oh, hang on, I've got another 5 there. 53, maybe it was 58. I don't know, there was a loose 5 over there, so let's just hope it was from there. Doesn't matter, I suppose, except for that it won't be there next week if it wasn't. So I've got 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Now, what am I going to do? So the ones that I was so far away on many of these, wasn't I? So let's have a go. Christmas or celebration, sorry, as I'm going to be calling it. That's going to get 20 because there's just nothing in there. So that's an actual 15, but that gives me 20 in there. Like for Easter, I think I probably need 40. So there you go, that's the first thing I will be putting money aside for. And I'm halfway there. Great. Doctor and health. So I had 634. Oh, I didn't write it in, did I? Already I'm ruining my own system. So in and out. So there was $5 in. I don't know how much I need, and today was plus 15. So total is 20. Okay, so that's done. Doctor, if I put in, I think let's do another 35. So that's 670. If any of my kids were around at the moment, they'd go 6, 7. I don't know if that is a thing where you live. Certainly a thing in our house. I recently caught up with some friends from overseas. Their kids, they live in an Asian country and they go to an international school. And then someone said something about 6, 7, and they both instantly stopped and went 6, 7. So I was like, it is the world over, that trend. Okay, so health. That's topped up, that's looking good. Transport. So I've got 395, so that's 430. So I'm going to plus 35. I haven't got a plan yet for how I'm going to make these nice. That will be a little Christmas holidays project. And then the animals. So I've got 230. So we definitely want 20 in there. That makes it 250. Yeah, 250. That's a good start. Our dog has just had a groom, so he won't need one for a while. There's lots of food. Oh, what did I... Sorry, I'm talking so much that I've forgotten what I put in there. You guys will be watching and go, I know what you put in there, but never mind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 150, 70, 80, 90, 200, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 250. So plus 20 equals 250. So if anyone's got any ideas or you've made something yourself that is a good, you know, kind of cover plate, and then maybe I don't know, something else that you can just take out and write on, let me know. I would love to hear how you made that. Don't want to buy anything, just want to make it. So if you've got a making idea, please share. There's probably other people that would enjoy hearing that too. And then I've got clothes, which has only got 90. But let's say now it's got 105. So plus 15. Are you guys feeling all good about Christmas? Anyone feeling stressed? We're all good, we're all organised. I haven't done the grocery, like the Christmas grocery shop yet using my Christmas Club money. You know, I put that money aside on a card, so I'll make sure I show you guys when I do that. See what you get for a Christmas card and see if it's worth the effort. Okie doke, I bought an $80 vacuum cleaner off Trade Me using this money, and I bought that for our batch because I was going to clean it and I didn't want to take our vacuum cleaner there and then have to cart it back. We're going to need a vacuum cleaner there, so I just bought one hopefully it's a decent one. $80 for a second-hand vacuum cleaner seemed pricey, but it is what it is. So this is what I've got. 1, 2, 50, 70, 90, 310, 305. So I'm going to put in 15. So what did I say? 305, 310, 320. So like I said, I'm aiming here for $1,000. So I'm a wee way off that, aren't I? But you've got to keep tracking. I will be getting some kind of change challenge up and running, because if I just have this random change, I tell you what, I will just, I don't know, I don't even know what I'll do with it. It will be gone. And if I put it into a jar, it will still be gone. It will only stick around to add up to hundreds of dollars if I put it in a challenge. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll look for a new one, or I might just find the same one that I used last year and, you know, print a new one off. But that's where that's going. So I'm going to start that. And yeah, that's it for me. I'm all done. This has been such a super long video. If you're still here throughout the whole thing, thank you. It's a miracle. I appreciate it. Yeah, I just can't wait for 2026. 2025 has been a great year for my family. You know, there have been some massive highs, there have been a few lows, we've lost some people close to us. But that, whilst it's so sad at the time, it is one of those reminders that makes you grateful for being alive and grateful for the things that you do have. And I think I can honestly say, for the first time in a number of years this year for the first time in a number of years is what I'm trying to say, is I have felt settled, I have felt motivated, I have felt, you know, it's not like I spent the whole year being happy. Of course I had moments where I'm not happy, but just that settled feeling. Like I really felt like for the first time in a long time, New Zealand was home. And I think one of the things that has done that for me is hearing so many people bash us and be like, it sucks, da 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 da. It really makes me feel like, no, it doesn't. No, it's a great place to live. What are you talking about? So, you know, silver linings and all that. I'm feeling very happy and very settled. Yeah, I just can't believe I've made this big dream come true in a batch. And yeah, that's all I have to say. It's been so long, this video. I just need to say bye for now.